Every day, you are the target of psychological operations designed by some of the smartest people on the planet. Not to help you, not to inform you, to manipulate you into financial decisions that benefit someone else. And the most disturbing part? Most of it is completely legal, documented, studied, and deliberately deployed at scale. Today, we're going to name the specific techniques being used against you, because you cannot defend against something you cannot see. The first technique is called anchoring, and it's one of the most powerful manipulation tools in existence. Here's how it works. Before you evaluate any price, any offer, any financial decision, someone plants a number in your mind first. That number becomes your reference point, your anchor, and every judgment you make afterward is unconsciously pulled toward it. Walk into a car dealership. The salesperson doesn't start with the car you want. They show you something more expensive first, something you'd never buy, and then, almost as a favor, they show you the reasonable option. That reasonable option hasn't changed, but your perception of it has, because your brain is now measuring it against the anchor, not against reality. Retailers use anchoring constantly. The crossed-out original price next to the sale price, the premium package listed first on a pricing page, the suggested retail price that nobody ever pays. Every single one of these is an anchor, and every single one is designed to make you feel like you're winning, while you spend more than you intended. The second technique is artificial scarcity, and it exploits one of the oldest survival instincts in the human brain. Your brain is wired to want things more when they appear rare. This was useful when food and resources were genuinely limited. It is catastrophically exploitable in a world of manufactured urgency. Limited time offer. Only 3 left in stock. This deal expires tonight. Research shows that identical products sell significantly better when labeled as limited, even when the limitation is completely fabricated. The psychology doesn't require the scarcity to be real. It only requires you to believe it might be. And here's the dark sophistication of this technique. Artificial scarcity doesn't just make you more likely to buy, it makes you less likely to think critically about what you're buying. Urgency and rational evaluation cannot occupy the same mental space at the same time. The pressure is the point. It's not a coincidence that the countdown timer appears right next to the buy button. The third technique is social proof manipulation, and in the age of the internet, it has reached a level of sophistication that previous generations couldn't have imagined. Human beings are deeply social creatures. We look to others to understand what is safe, what is valuable, what is worth pursuing. In environments of genuine uncertainty, this instinct is genuinely useful. But when social proof can be manufactured, when reviews can be bought, when follower counts can be inflated, when testimonials can be fabricated, the entire signal becomes corrupted. You see 10,000 5-star reviews and your brain registers, this is trustworthy, this is popular, this is safe. But you have no way of knowing how many of those reviews are real. And the companies that benefit from your trust have significant financial incentive to make sure you never find out. The fourth technique is loss aversion exploitation. And this one runs so deep in human psychology that even knowing about it doesn't fully protect you from it. Decades of behavioral research have confirmed that losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains feel pleasurable. Losing $100 hurts roughly twice as much as gaining $100 feels good. Financial predators know this, and they frame every offer around it. Don't miss out. You're leaving money on the table. This opportunity won't come back. Notice the language. It's never about what you gain. It's always about what you lose by not acting, because loss is the more powerful motivator, and motivation is what they need from you. The fifth technique is complexity as camouflage, and it may be the most insidious of all. Financial products, credit cards, loans, investment vehicles, insurance policies are often deliberately complicated. Not because complexity is necessary, but because complexity prevents comparison. When you cannot easily compare two products, you default to other signals: brand recognition, the confidence of the salesperson, the familiarity of the institution. And those signals are all controllable by the company selling to you. The complexity doesn't confuse you by accident. It confuses you by design, to move your decision from rational analysis to emotional trust. A payday loan with a 400% annual interest rate doesn't advertise that number prominently. It advertises $15 per 100 borrowed. Because 15 sounds manageable, and manageable is all they need you to feel. There is also a sixth technique that ties all the others together. It's called identity-based marketing, and it's the reason that so much modern advertising doesn't sell you a product. It sells you a version of yourself. You're not buying a car. You're buying the kind of person who drives that car. You're not buying a credit card with rewards points. You're buying membership in a category of people who have their finances together. When a purchase becomes tied to identity, price sensitivity drops dramatically. You stop asking, "Is this worth the money?" and start asking, "Is this who I am?" And that question is almost impossible to answer rationally. Luxury brands have perfected this, but it exists everywhere. In fast food, in financial products, in subscription services, anywhere that a company can make you feel that buying is an expression of identity rather than a transaction. The antidote is simple, but requires practice. Before any significant purchase, ask one question: am I buying this because I need it, or because of who I think it makes me? So, what do you actually do with this? Awareness is the first defense, but it isn't sufficient on its own. Knowing that anchoring exists doesn't make you immune to anchors. Knowing that artificial scarcity is manufactured doesn't stop urgency from triggering your nervous system. What actually works is process, rules you set in advance before the manipulation begins. Never make a financial decision under time pressure. If the offer expires tonight, let it expire. Real value doesn't disappear in 24 hours. Always compare against an external reference, not the one provided. When you see a sale price, ask what the product costs elsewhere, not what it was marked down from. Wait, specifically, implement a waiting period for any non-essential purchase above a threshold you set yourself. 24 hours for small purchases, a week for significant ones. The urgency that felt real will almost always feel manageable after the waiting period ends. These aren't complicated strategies, but they work precisely because they interrupt the moment between the trigger and the response. And that moment is where all of these techniques live. The system is sophisticated. The people who designed it are intelligent and well-resourced, but they require your participation to work. And participation, unlike psychology, is something you can choose. If this opened your eyes to something you hadn't seen before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the psychology that powerful institutions hope you never understand.